is going on, YouTube? I am here with you again with another movie review, and today I'm going to be reviewing a movie called Chasing Molly. Now, this movie is brought to you by Mountain Light Entertainment, and it features Kurt Angle, Felicia Day, Shelley Pack, and Jim Cashman. And this movie was a really like funny and very like sarcastic with a ton of humor. And I think a lot of people will enjoy this movie. I did. I watched it twice thus far, and I really had a really good time with this movie. Again, this movie is more of a like it's a comedy but adult humor. So by all means, a lot of this resonates with people who understands a lot of where a lot of sayings and stuff are coming from. And some of the jokes are very vanilla where you will catch instantly, but there's some things that like really references a lot of different things that really strictly pertains to an adult crowd. And not just that, the adults are, I mean, the crowd, the jokes are on an adult level, so not for kids. But I would say that this is a movie that is something you want to pop in with some of your friends, maybe a little date night, or something like the theme of Netflix and chill. But obviously you want a red box or video on demand with this one, because it was a ton of good laughs. But this movie is about Molly and her friend Atticus. Been friends for a long time. They're basically paranormal con artists, where they clean people's houses, and with the ideal of enhancing the fact that their houses are haunted with ghosts or any type of paranormal activity. But at the same time, they're cleaning them, but possessing or taking possession of whoever the customer is valuables, and basically in the connection of saying like, hey, this is possessed, so we need to claim this stuff. But actually, we're, as in any con artist, eventually this stuff catches up to you, and they actually run into the wrong people, where they accidentally rip off a big drug pen by taking possession of his teapot. And the teapot was really worth more than they thought it was, as the teapot was filled with drugs, as you said, the kingpin. And this eventually ends up in her best friend Atticus being kidnapped, and Molly happened to go all throughout LA to pretty much collaborate a plan to not only return to possessions back to the drug pen, but to save her best friend. And the challenges and the adventures that she goes through LA is absolutely hysterical. Like, it's absolutely funny, and it's a really good ride in time. So, looking over my notes here, there's a couple of things I want to point out. Number one, the theme song, Renegade Master by Vinci and Darrell. Oh, I loved it throughout the whole movie. Like, I even downloaded it at this point now. Like, I loved it. Nice, good up tempo beat. I think if you're like me, a very good song to add on your gym playlist or anything active, because it's really uppity and it really sets the tone for the movie. Because this movie is one of those, again, like, it's a comedy, but it's one of those uppity ones where it's like so much fun and everything's happening on. I think this theme just enhances every scene that is being played in. But when the movie first starts, you do start off by seeing Shelley Plack, who plays Molly, the main character. And the thing about what I like about Molly character is that I feel like that character is so genuine, and I think Shelley does such a really good job in embracing this character, that it feels so transparent that it actually feels like it is her personality to the utmost. Like, it almost feels personable at times. You see her, you kind of like, oh yeah, I it just feels like a friend of yours, like a homie. So like, going through the adventure and going on a ride in this movie with somebody that you actually feel that you like know, and you like, that's your friend. Like, it just makes it makes the movie just even more fun, because it almost seems like, oh yeah, I knew she would have did something like that. You know what I mean? But even more so when you talk about Molly's character, and obviously Shelley, who is the person, the actress for this character. when you know her involvement in this movie, it only explains furthermore why that character feels so personable. I'll get to that in a little bit. You have Kurt Angle, WWE Hall of Famer, one of the best wrestlers to ever do it inside of a ring. You see him total badass. Now, if you're a wrestling fan, you've seen glimpses of Kurt Angle as the Raw general manager. You know, you've seen him over the years and his antics. But let me tell you something. Kurt Angle as the drug kingpin in this movie was absolutely amazing. Such menacing lines, and like typically when you get a bad guy, you know, you get some cheesy one-liners and stuff like that. Like the uncle that tries to be cool thing. He kills this role. Like literally, the things he said was just like, damn, that was good actually, or like. Yeah, you know, that's what I would think a bad guy would say in a situation such as that. So I was really really high on Kurt Angle's character and the performance that he put in this movie. But again, you do see the two of them, Molly and Atticus, as they figuring out ways to make money as there are paranormal con artists, and eventually, again, they end up confiscating the wrong one, and they end up getting, which happens to be a teapot that is filled with over 500 Legos in it, and the Legos, it's kind of questionable. Are they candy? Are they more? I mean, you just don't put things in your mouth that you are unsure about. So this takes them. This is where the journey begins. Now, again, they're con artists, but at the same time, Molly is sarcastic as she is. She is very intelligent in the things she does. Like throughout the humor, you see her really tiptoe about the decisions she makes. She's a complete. She brainstorms in every situation, and even in this one, where Atticus is like, "Oh well, let's just do it," blah 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 blah, and she's like, "Well, let's figure this out first." That does take them to where the journey begins, like I said, and I really love this part. But Molly, they went to go visit a friend of theirs, Rawhide, who he sells drugs. He's a user of drugs, shall I say, on anything recreational. And they know for a fact they take this to him. He will be the one that will test this out and figure out what the heck is going on. And sure enough, they did. And he asked 0 questions, and he took it. And while this is happening, Atticus, he had a good idea. He said, "Hey, look, we might as well just record this for footage. You never know, like or marketing purposes," as he said. And this is where it went off. And just as how a lot of people become stars in the world, one viral video, one viral YouTube, Facebook, whatever video it may be, and you are just taking off. Where you have a video of Rawhide who ends up taking one of these Legos, which happens to be Molly, and he just goes on on the charades of crazy delusions and phrases of talking about he wants to go back in time, and he wants to be able to he wants to do some adult things to himself, and ultimately he dons the name of Taste the Tip because, well, maybe he accomplished that, but you won't know until you watch the movie. But yeah, he becomes the viral sensation of Taste the Tip, and this not only makes that guy famous, and it, you know, whatever it may be, that's not really the important part. It's the fact that this now, the consumers are like, whoa, if this make this person act that certain type of way, I want to try that. And thus the stock market is high in demand for the product that they did not even really realize it would go off in this sort. But again, we're talking about drugs here. We know it's just not going to be just a happy-go-lucky, here is change for money, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's happy. Creates envy, where you're going to see other people say, well, where did they get that from? Obviously, you're going to see Kurt Angle's character to say, like, I need my product back. I know my stuff, and it's not there. And Mr. Black is Kurt Angle's character, by the way, too. And he's the hunt to getting his stuff back. But before this all happened, Molly, again, is one of those ones that's really strategical in the things she does, regardless of the comedic factor that she provides in this movie. The underlying tone is that she always has a plan. She's always brainstorming, just one step above Atticus. Atticus just seems to be the guy that just go with the flow with things. His girlfriend, Caitlin, who's played by Felicia Day, he thinking for the long run. He says like, hey, you know, we sell this, we can make enough to retire, and me and Felicia could we'll be good. And then Molly's like, well, you and Felicia or us? You know what I mean? And it's not like a romantic thing. They're friends, you know, but same time, it's just like, what are you talking about? We're here doing this, you know, like you're thinking about, and Molly's not really fond of Felicia. We'll get down to Felicia in a little bit in the story. And like I keep noticing to myself that I keep saying Felicia, but the character name is Caitlin, played by Felicia Day, and Molly, who at times expresses the fact that she's not fond of Caitlin in this movie to her friend as an Atticus, like being a friend, saying like, you know, I don't think she's good for you. But at this point too, this is where they decide, hey, should we just continue being the demon hunters that we are, the demon cleaners as they are, as they call themselves. I mean, it seems to be a little bit, it's been working for them, it's safer as they think, but or do we go full blown with trying drills? But Molly is convinced. They try it out, they map out a plan, they sell it all over. Eventually this ends up leading into some trouble for the two of them. You do get a bunch of funny moments within their adventures of just, you know, their shorts of just the exchanges between doing so. The casting for this movie, they're just really an array of people from all over. And the really good thing, which I have like later in my notes, but I'll just say it now, is that although there's such an array of different people, everyone really did get the time to shine. That you really get to see someone's true colors of why they were selected for this project. You have people who have small roles, some people with bigger roles, some people who's only have voice acting roles. You just had people from all over, but nonetheless, this movie did bring them all together to be able to give everybody like a platform to shine and show what they can do, and I genuinely appreciate that. There's some particular people I am going to go over in a second, but again, like, you know, when it comes down to drugs, it always has to deal with violence and problems, and you know, you meet characters like Scar, who plays a character, Guapo, who's another drug gang. They're just like, hey, what's happening there, you know, but at the same time, very funny. As serious as he look, and you know, the stereotypical drug lord, tattoos and all that stuff. Very funny. Love this character. E.R. Ruiz, who plays Spanx, another person you've seen in other different other shows and stuff like that. Um, he's a customer, but at the same time got a toughness, but very sarcastic. But God, is he so funny in the scenes that he's in. And even part of the reason that the plot is further pushed because of some of the things that he's done in it. So yeah, you know, stuff like that I really like. But again, while this is all happening, Molly's still really smart about the things she does, but Atticus is just like, he's just going with it, and eventually, like, it does catch up to the two of them as Atticus is kidnapped, and at the same time, as a result, or kind of simultaneous, is Molly's robbed, and Molly doesn't even show, like, she doesn't lose her composure. Instantly robbed, and her brain says, how are we going to figure this out? And at the same time, kind of down on herself, but still kind of motivated to still try to get a solution to save her friend. Even with her being in danger at being robbed, she just automatically think about her friend. And again, I think a really core point of this is that a lot of people like to think when there's the dynamics of a female lead and a male lead, it's going to probably be romantic. And this movie does not give you that indication at all. They just genuinely becomes friends all the way in the movie, and you see the dynamics of a friend looking out for a friend, and you appreciate that because we all want good friends that do that. And even in the eye of adversity, you want somebody to be there for you. And I really embraced who Molly's character was. But at the same time, too, like I told you in the beginning, is you kind of feel like sympathetic for her because you're like, yo, my friend Molly's in trouble while she's trying to save her friend Atticus. So like, I need to know what's going to happen to Molly as she goes through this. You know what I mean? So like, that's what I really liked about this. Yeah, some other people I gotta point out as far as like their roles in this. Jeff Lewis, who plays this character Skullfucker, is absolutely hilarious. God, did I love his scenes. Felicia Day, who I talked about earlier, who plays Catherine, who's the girlfriend of Atticus in this movie, plays the crazy girlfriend, and I love it. It is complete chaos with her, and I love it. I'm also a Felicia Day fan. Love seeing her. Would like to watch her in anything at this point. But God, even as the crazy girlfriend, you still like, no one wants a crazy girlfriend, but you know at this point, you know, you get past the part of being alarmed to the point of just appreciating how good of a person, like how good of a person she is for this role, and she like nails it as that. The one big thing that I need from this movie, I need more from this movie, is the cop scenes. There's two cops in this movie, Officer Reyes and Officer Brock. The dialogue between the two of them, their scenes together, just like the uncanny with the two of them, it feels like its own. It feels like its own series that we need more shorts of it. Even with the dispatch that's happening with them, like you want more of it. I mean, I'm telling you, watch this movie and just when you see the scenes where they're in the cop car, chilling outside the cop car, whatever dimensions that they're going on, or responding to dispatches, along listening to what the dispatch is telling them. I loved it. But again, as I get down to the end of my notes here, this was a small cast, but I really appreciate the fact that like everyone really did get legitimate time to shine. But the stars in this movie, obviously, without being said, is Molly, and Mr. Black again, who's played by Mr. Black is played by Kurt Angle, and obviously Shelley Pack playing Molly. They are the stars in this movie. They truly embrace their character to the utmost, and it just shines throughout the entire movie whenever they're on scene. Obviously we follow Molly throughout the whole movie, but like the scenes where Mr. Black is on the set, it's just like, yes, like for everyone else to give you the comedic factor, Kurt Angle does not deviate from his villainous role of just being menacing and imposing anytime he's on the screen. But when the movie ends exactly like how it begins. Complete bonkers. Like, it's just like, okay, that was just crazy insane, but you love it, and it's expecting for what this movie is. But make sure too, when the movie's done, stay tuned. I mean, once it's off, because like the rolling text that pretty much catches everyone up with which each character has done after the movie, you know, the future endeavors and stuff like that. Absolutely funny. Read those texts. It's absolutely good. You're gonna have to hit pause because some of them is just like you really want to make sure you're understanding what they're saying, and then obviously you get some behind the scenes stuff as the credit rolls. But two things I want to point out too, like from this movie, is that again, director Josh Sutherland. You've seen him in other things like Jumper, as he's done visual work and stuff with them, and he's done some work with the first Avengers movie as well. He's the director, producer, executive producer, and did the story for this movie. But this is absolutely a project that Shelley genuinely wanted, and you can tell that her heart and everything was involved in this movie, like point blank. This was legit Shelley Plack's baby. I mean, she's the producer, she's the executive producer, she's done the story, she's done the screenplay, she's doing PR work, she's done everything. So outside of the fact of just doing all the work to making this movie go, she's also in front of the camera where she's Molly, and you know, there's no lack of passion on whatever side that she's involved with it. And I really appreciate someone not only is so hardworking in the project that means so much to them, but also appreciate the fact of like you see that same emotion in her character. And when I say emotion, I mean you genuinely, authentically feel like you are seeing her resonate on that screen in that role. And I love it. It's so personable that although the movie is funny and silly and does a lot of crazy things at times, you just like, yo, that is literally my friend on the screen right there, like killing it right now. And I appreciate that, really do. But again, this movie, Chasing Molly, it is released May 7th. You can catch it on video on demand and all other ways of purchasing your digital content and stuff like that. And I think you check it out. For sure, you want to I think this is a movie you want to kick back on a Friday night. Get some friends over, maybe just, you know, a date or something low key, or even if you just want to do it by yourself. Like, I love this movie. I think you'll have a good time with it. But again, let me know what you guys think. Write me some comments in the description, and stay tuned because I got some more stuff coming for this movie. Like there's some big things that may be happening. We may actually be talking to Molly herself and Shelley Pack. And, you know, maybe she might bring a friend. Maybe Josh may come along. We'll see. But, hey, stay tuned. I appreciate you checking out the review and catching it.
Big goal. bell.